Hello, Adventures and LARPing fans. Here we are at Glastonbury Abbey at the actual site of what is believed to be the tomb of King Arthur himself. Here are the remains of the abbey and how it looks today.
Adventures in LARPing, everybody. Today we have Sean Keys, Chris Glover,
Courtney Maynor.
Good God,
Courtney Maynor, and our friend Ann
Standiford.
Standiford, who likes living here in the studio. And
I think we're all just kind of
our
moved in
question
together.
of the day is, in your time doing LARP, what have you learned? Skills about yourself, about others. How have you developed as a person through LARP?
I've learned how to shop cheap for costuming.
Nice. That's a beauty right there.
Yes.
Shopping cheap.
That's my favorite part of the LARP, is getting dressed up and finding just those really interesting pieces that maybe you didn't make by hand, but are still kind of, where the heck did somebody like me find this at a Goodwill? Like my overskirt today, I picked it up at a Goodwill for like $2 because nobody knew what the heck it was.
Nice.
And it's like, I saw it, I'm like, that's a petticoat.
Nice. Definitely.
Score.
Cheap shopping all around. And that starts with costuming and goes forward with all sorts of props and even when you're trying to feed everybody how to shop cheap for food and everything. Yeah, excellent skill. And what kinds of things have you learned?
For me, LARP is an excellent media for self-expression. I want to explore something. So with this character, I'm exploring being a tough fighter type. My character comes from a kind of matriarchal tribe. So I'm really I kind of have the macho thing going on. And
have you ever
like
tried to
fun.
explore a piece of yourself and come across finding out that it was different than you thought?
Absolutely. I'd say every single one of my characters is a piece of myself. Sometimes it's deliberate. Sometimes I say, okay, I want to explore this thing. Sometimes I don't even know that is a part of myself that I'm exploring. Sometimes when I go in and start to role play this character, generally I'd say I have an idea in my head of the way the character's going to be, but then I go out and play it and it ends up evolving in a different way, from interaction with other characters, from interaction with the game and the plot and all that stuff.
Neat.
That's always the fun part.
So,
Sean, what kind of things have you learned?
Mainly, I'm more of a ranged spellcaster type. Instead of being like a up-fronter.
Okay.
So, pretty much I was starting out as an up-front.
So, some combat skills.
Combat
and things.
right there,
Okay.
and then just kind of brought myself backwards and just brought myself to more mid-range
Alright.
rather than front.
Now let me ask you, when you're specifically, I know that you recently participated in a Planetfall game that we talked with some of the creators here on the show earlier. I bring you out specifically because I know that you've been doing fantasy LARP for a very long time specifically. Now, what kinds of things did you find different and find out about yourself and in playing when you switched over to a different genre like that?
More of still the same support, but instead of just being like, oh, I'm all by myself or a little bit of crew like this, when other people are around, it's more of chain lining it to like your character in Planetfall. Me and you got a little interaction, and I know when the bioscientist went out there in the marsh, I want to say the sergeant of that group kind of stepped in and intervened. Really just threw myself in there and just wanted to end him right there. I hate to say it like that, but it was just like protecting the one that's in front, trying to do something smart, and another guy just coming in.
Yeah. Well, I think it's really different with the high roleplay LARPs as opposed to a LARP that's mainly focused on combat.
Yeah.
Right.
Because you not only have, we're going to go kill the bad guys, but you have your motivation.
Sure.
Your character isn't just, a fighter. You're, a 30-year-old veteran combat warrior, and your brother died when you were 8, and you've got all these emotional hang-ups, and you really hate orcs or something like that.
Right.
Because orcs killed your family. And so when you see an orc, if you've got a backstory for your character, then you can flip out and be like, kill them all. And it's just
nice.
fun to have that dramatic element in it.
Going trick-or-treating with Anne is always a surprise, because as soon as you see little kids dressed as orcs, you have to restrain her as she goes chasing them down the street for their candy.
It's okay. They're not gonna hurt you. They're young and stupid.
So,
They're easy to
I gotta say, for me, as much as I really like some of the role play things, when it comes to some of the games and the story going on, I find that sometimes I like stepping back and watching the game happen more sometimes than actually participating with it. I've actually stopped and just watched one of the Mystic Crossroads games. It was going and going, and it was like watching a TV show or something to that effect. I didn't know what was going on, but the neat thing was nobody else did either. And so that was kind of cool for me. I am a big fan of crafting, as we may know from various segments on here. When I first started, it was about making some of my own costuming from things thrown together, and now I do all sorts of sewing. And then I started, now I need some armor because I'm not a very good fighter, and now I started to make all kinds of armor, and now it's just like, now I've got a garage full of tools. I have to go make something because I've got tools. And my wife says I've got to stop bringing it all inside the house, so now I have to start making things that just live in the garage.
You know what I've learned from Dystopia? So I've gotten in better shape. I've gotten more coordinated, and I've gotten better at seeing things in the dark.
Interesting.
Yeah. So my night vision has gotten better because my brain has gotten better at picking out little details.
Okay.
Picking out things that don't fit. And I've also gotten better at walking silently. And those are things that you get from a weekend LARP that you don't really get from daytime LARPs or from dramatic LARPs.
Yeah, I was going to say, I have never played much at night, or the places that I've been at night have had lights around. So that's an interesting perspective. And yet I've always played daytime sort of things. When it's time to go to bed, I will fall asleep, which means at a game like Dystopia Rising, I will probably not see the dawn.
Well,
I'm going to get stabbed in the night because I am sleeping. It is not time. My cat can't wake me up for breakfast. It just has to wait.
Yeah. And there's times, it's not 100% guarantee that you'll get killed in your sleep. Although there was a guy who woke up finding his organs being rummaged through because it was a crazy guy whose girlfriend had died, and he was trying to make a new girlfriend from the body parts of other people.
See,
You know
that's
what?
why
These are
LARP is fun.
I know.
These
It
are the
was
sort of
amazing.
stories that when someone at work hears you telling over the water cooler, the police come and ask you questions about.
More organs means more human.
For a little while, I would do a little bit of weapon practice with a few folks that got out of work at 2 a.m. And we had this parking lot that we were at where they all left work. And so at one point, and security knew what we were doing out there. And so at one point, the police came by and said, "Look, we've got enough reports of you guys. Would you please stop so that people stop calling us in?" We were a gang or something practicing in the middle of the night in a parking lot. But that was quite fun.
It's funny, and we even get that with dramatic LARPs. One time we were playing Vampire, and as you know, Vampire does rock, paper, scissors. So sometimes you do this motion, right?
Right.
And someone called the cops because we were out in the park, rock, paper, scissoring, and they thought we were gang robbing or gang
gang
brawling or
signs,
something. I don't know, whatever. They're like, "There's some gangsters out in that park."
They're all dressed goth-like.
Yeah.
They all have Lee press-on fangs. I don't know what's going on. None of them sparkle. They can't be vampires. Oh.
You know what? If I ever make a vampire character, I am going to get body glitter just to make it sparkle and just watch everybody flip out. I would do that too.
I like messing with people at VLARPs. It's really fun.
I would have to say I'm sorry. I would kill you upon contact for no reason whatsoever besides the glitter.
You know, the disadvantage of it would you be picking glitter off your skin for weeks.
Hey, I'm a fairy by heart. It doesn't bother me. Glitter is my love.
Well, wonderful, wonderful start to the show, everybody. Stick around for a whole bunch more adventures in LARPing. We've got all kinds of goodies in store.
Bye.
Next time on Name That Smell.
Burning heart.
Hi, and welcome back to Adventures in LARPing. For our Costuming Corner segment, I'm Chris Glover here with Ann Standiford. Ann is a member of a group called Dystopia Rising, a very post-apocalyptic LARP, which is a little bit different from some of the fantasy LARPs that you see around the country. Ann has decided to come on in here and hang with us today. Thank you for coming on the show and show us some of what is post-apocalyptic costuming. What do you have going on here? Show me what you got.
So one of the cool things about DR versus your average fantasy LARP is that a lot of the stuff that you can wear for DR you can get at thrift stores. So, you know, I'm just wearing a regular t-shirt that I've cut some holes in, put a few bleach stains on it to make it kind of cool. This is also a t-shirt that I converted into a skirt, you know, cut some holes on it here. Nice. I'd say my favorite piece is probably this breastplate here.
That definitely, this is the real stuff, folks. That definitely screams Mad Max there right now. So that is an old street sign, right?
Yeah. So, you know, sometimes when there's windstorms, the wind will rip the street signs off, and you'll find them on the ground in parking lots or on the side of the road.
And things that are, yeah, because they're unusable at that point, they get tossed out by the local authorities. And you were mentioning before that you could even find some online and things like that, right?
Yeah, you can buy street signs on eBay.
Okay.
You know, people salvage them too.
Whenever you're finding a street sign, definitely look for the ones that are being thrown out. Don't just go steal your local stop sign. There are going to be problems and the police won't like your LARP. That said, it's definitely a good recycling of materials there. It's one of the things that definitely screams out Mad Max about your character.
Yeah, I mean, and it fits within the genre because Dystopia Rising takes place about 4 or 5 generations after the zombie apocalypse.
Zombies.
Yep,
Yeah.
zombies, and people freaked out and dropped bombs, so there's kind of some radiation going on there too.
Nuclear zombies.
Yeah, there are some nuclear zombies.
Hanging out with their cockroach friends as pets, because that's all they can survive.
Yep. And this was also made by the same friend that made this thing.
Okay.
And
so this is essentially a form of kidney belt with some extra stuff added on.
Yeah, it just kind of has this little flap. My character is kind of a primitive type.
Okay.
And so, you know, there's different types of characters depending on what they decided to do after the apocalypse.
Nice.
My character was kind of like returning back to nature and back to primitive ways.
Okay.
Some people kind of go underground and become these sort of cave dwellers. Some people became kind of uber hillbillies.
I see.
The
I see.
Americans.
Gotcha.
And those are fun to play too.
And the whole returning to nature thing, the leather works real well with that. I think your pouch over there adds to that. And then I notice, going along with that, we've got a nice crow head amulet here. Now, is this a resin piece or is this an actual skull?
I think this is an actual crow skull. I actually got it from a friend in-game. It was like an in-game present.
Okay.
So it sort of represents for my character her particular religion.
Okay.
She belongs to the Crow Eaters, which is kind of a warrior tribe.
I see. So it's a little detail that really ties in, not just I've got a detail for my character, which looks really cool, by the way, but also something that ties into the story that you can use in-game as well. Those are some of the best details, I think.
Yeah. And I think some of my favorite costumes that I've ever seen have little details on them. So I've got this, You know, I
Some of the
did some
braids.
braids.
And I noticed that with this, we also have, I don't know if a camera can see the necklace here. It's kind of a bone sort of a bead there as well. Where did you find this?
I think I got it at an import store. So
Okay.
some of my favorite places are
Easy enough to pick something up.
Yeah. So the places that sell beads and stuff.
Okay. Okay.
This was a Tibetan soul bead or something.
Okay.
So the Tibetans believe that the soul resides in the throat, and
Okay.
they have little charms to protect it.
I see.
kinda
And
cool.
it really, because it's some of the same coloration as the rest of the outfit and still looks like some of the bone from the crow skull, it really does kind of tie in and give an extra little piece going on there.
Let me show off my shield real quick.
I was
So-
looking at that.
This is a really lightweight foam, so
Right.
it's nice for carrying around. It doesn't make my arm tired.
Okay.
But it also looks kind of like asphalt. So I put these 2 pieces of white duct tape here.
So you picked up the street after your character picks up part of the street to use to. That's kind of neat. That's kind of neat. You know you're dealing with somebody tough if they're just ripping up part of the street to use against you.
Yep. So that's my character's shield.
Okay.
And this is my sword. It's a latex sword, kind
Sure
of
thing.
kind of beat up now because I've had it for a couple years and haven't really.
The latex swords, we've talked some about some different types of making boffers and things. Latex swords are definitely something that you can purchase to play with some games. Some games will allow it, some games won't, but man, they do look pretty.
And they're really lightweight. And yeah, Dystopia is one of those things where they care more about the look than anything
Okay.
else, where your armor is more rated on how much it looks like you just stepped out of the set of Mad Max
Sure.
than how much it actually,
Nice.
how practical
Nice.
it actually
Rated
is.
on appearance.
Yeah.
Now, I do have to ask about one piece that really stands out more than everything else. You've got a big blue stripe across your face.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Little bit of stage makeup going on there.
Yeah.
Tell me some about what you're using and I mean, you can't just use just any old makeup
No,
for LARP, right?
So the thing with LARP makeup is that it needs to be durable. You need to be able to run around in it, sweat in it, sleep in it, eat in it. And so my favorite is a theatrical quality makeup that is called Mayron. You can order it online, but you can also get it at a theatrical costume shop. The Bazaar here in town off of Riverside has really good theatrical quality makeup. What I use is the
Wow, and it just
yeah,
completely
it
stays
doesn't-
on no matter what you're doing.
Yeah, this is called Paradise by Mayron. It's water-based, so it's a lot like watercolor.
Okay.
You dip your brush in water, you get it wet, and then you just paint it on. The nice
And
thing.
if you're like a big artist person and want to blend in colors and stuff, does it work well for that? Do you know?
Yeah, you can
Okay.
blend too. It's got the same sort of texture as watercolor, so
Okay.
you sort of work with that and you can blend it up. I've seen people do some really amazing stuff with it.
Nice.
So yeah, I mean the strain that I'm part of, the natural ones, the primitives, a lot of them put face paint on to kind of bring out that primitive sort of look.
Excellent, excellent. All right, and then I know we've talked about most of it. I see these are just some
They're just
blousy
cargo
I'm
pants.
gonna have you fall over. We're gonna have injuries
Here we
on
go,
the
here we
show. LARP is dangerous, folks.
So I got cargo pants here and a pair of Ren Fair boots.
Nice.
Ren Fair boots are great. They're actually probably the most expensive piece that I own, but I've had them for years.
But yeah, if you're going to have them and you're going to use them for a long time, and they'd be great in a variety of games. So
Yeah.
it's a costume piece that's really can go across. And I think that's one of the best things that I like about some of my costume is that I know being a LARPer, you probably have quite a bit of in the way of costumes and pieces. I have half my closet full of things that just need to be in the closet as opposed to the various totes and stuff of the little tidbits here and there.
Yeah, and I have a whole my spare room is just full of LARP costume stuff. And I got a whole dresser that just has LARP costumes.
You can tell a LARPer. Are you looking at for a house with a spare room? Do you have another person? No, I have costumes. Well, I do want to thank you very much for coming on the show. Your
Thanks for
outfit
having me.
is wonderful, and I hope that gives some people ideas. Stay tuned, everybody, for more Adventures in LARPing.
Ladies and gentlemen, when I'm out LARPing in the field, fighting all day long, my weapons will break down. Sometimes I get injuries, and that's when I call on Crazy Carl's duct tape. It's weatherproof, it holds up to the stresses and strains of a day in LARP. I can fix my weapons and my elbows and knees and get back out on the field as fast as possible. Crazy Carl's duct tape for all your repair needs.
Hi, welcome back to Adventures in LARPing. I'm Chris Glover with Sean Keys and our special friend here, Ann Standiford. Today, we're going to talk about a LARP called Dystopia Rising, and Ann is a player. I have yet to play what I hear is an amazing game.
It's pretty fun.
And so tell me some about Dystopia Rising.
Okay. Well, Dystopia Rising is a game, a boffer type LARP.
Okay.
It's a little bit, if you're familiar with a hit point type system, that's
Okay.
how combat works.
Okay.
And but
We
it's
got a lot of
also-
gamers that watch this show. I think we all know what hit points.
Yeah, it's also very high role play, so
Okay.
it's pretty awesome in terms of the really highly developed role play. It's set about 4 or 5 generations after the zombie plague happened and the atomic bombs dropped.
You sold me, they're zombies.
They're zombies. And so as part of the game, everybody has their 4-hour zombie shift.
Okay, so everybody is playing, gets a turn as NPC.
Yes.
During the
yes.
game. Okay.
And so there's a lot of zombies. There's always bad guys for somebody to fight, or there's some sort of NPC to interact with. You know, sometimes they'll have hordes and hordes of zombies,
Okay.
or Borderlands style raiders,
Okay.
that sort of thing. Yeah. They're pretty fun. And so, there's lots of fun things to attack and fight, and sometimes there's great big scary super bosses.
Now, let me ask you, with some LARPs, you have everything from a one-shot evening type deal at somebody's house up through, Beacoline with its week-long sort of thing. If someone is new to Dystopia Rising, what should they expect as far as how long it runs and
All the stuff
things
they
like that?
need to bring in.
Oh, yeah. So Dystopia Rising is, the site is in Belton, Texas, so that's just a little bit north of Austin.
And that would be the Texas site as well.
Right.
But it's played
Oh,
across
yeah.
the country, right?
They're all over the country. Oh gosh, I don't even know how many sites there are yet, or
Okay.
are anymore. There's one in Seattle, one in New Jersey, one in Massachusetts, one in Hawaii now. There's one in Toronto.
Nothing says
California.
zombie like beach zombies.
Oh
We
gosh.
really want to go to the Hawaii LARP someday, but gotta save for it.
Sure.
Um,
But I interrupted you.
Yeah.
Well, how long does it run when you go to
yeah.
a game?
So the game officially starts on Friday night at 9 p.m. and it runs continuously until Sunday morning at noon.
So when you say continuously, can you expect to be woken up in the middle of the night by zombies?
Absolutely. So you can also expect to be on your way to the bathroom and be attacked. You can come out of the shower. This has happened to me before, okay? I came out of the shower.
Zombies in the shower?
I got attacked. Well, they don't attack you while you're in the shower.
Okay, that's good.
Nice.
Okay.
They
They're-
don't.
Okay.
They're not going to
Zombies-
attack you.
Zombies are notorious for not wanting to get clean.
Yeah,
So,
that's right.
right.
They're not going to attack you while you're using the bathroom. They're not going to attack you while you're in the shower. But as soon as you get out, it's fair game. So one time I had just gotten out of the shower, and I was lacing up my shoes, and I looked up to see like 5 or 6 zombies. These were like fire spitting zombies.
Oh.
Yeah, it was bad. And
Fire spitting zombies. They wait. They wait the instant you need to lace up your shoe. They're
yeah,
on you.
the next thing I knew, I was burning up. Fortunately, I made a loud noise, and some of my friends came and helped me.
All right.
Question: can you play as a zombie full time, or do you have to be a player 95% of the time and only zombie 5%?
You can always come an NPC full time.
Okay.
There are people that do that, and it's really, really fun to be an NPC. There are also people that say, I'm not sure if I want to invest the time and money yet.
Okay.
I want to see what this is like. And so they come and they NPC for a weekend, and they don't have to pay any money for it.
That is
yeah.
absolutely beautiful for someone that just wants to check it out.
So the game is at a Girl Scout camp, and it's nice for
Minus the Girl Scouts. It's
Yes,
okay.
there's no it happens on the off season. So it's a summer camp that the summer camp happens in the summer, but they make money by renting it out to people during the year.
Okay.
Okay.
So the nice thing about it for someone who's maybe shy about LARPing in front of people that might be watching them,
Okay.
everybody that's there is in on the game.
Okay.
You're not going to have anybody watching you and being like, ha ha, you're stupid. So it's nice to have that.
Just the players off somewhere aside that reeks of zombies and cookies.
Yeah, no matter how weird you are, there is someone weirder at a LARP. It's a fact. It's a fact.
That's true.
Yes.
Now you mentioned that you're able to come in and try it out an NPC for the weekend for free. If you're wanting to get into it and play, what kind of a cost are people looking at?
Okay, so there's a discount for first timers. It's
Okay.
$20 for first timers
For the entire weekend.
for the entire weekend.
Wow.
And then I have friends that do meal plans. So generally you have to bring your own food
Okay.
and your own stuff, everything you need for camping out on a weekend. Some people bring tents, but there's also cabins on site.
Okay.
So, sleeping bag, pillow, change of clothes. Please bring hygiene products too. There's showers on site. So
I think that is a must for all
Yes.
LARPs. I mean, you may be playing for a weekend, but
There's
Yeah.
a point where you could just go away.
the zombies don't really attack you because you smell good out of the shower. They will attack you otherwise too.
Yes.
yeah, and you know what? We
But
appreciate
aside
it.
from the first timers, I mean, so it's $20 to try it out the first
Yeah,
time.
the
and
second
then-
time it'll be $45.
Okay.
But you can always spend extra
That's-
money to get more experience points.
Okay.
So some people will pay for more experience points, and if you want to
level
play,
up with some cash.
yep, and if you want to play 2 characters, you spend a little extra money there. So that's how they make their cash.
I tell you, but that much for an entire site rented out for an entire weekend worth of play. I think that's an excellent price tag considering. And this is something that is in the off season from the Girl Scouts. But how often does it run?
Every month.
So once a month.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's every month, and it varies depending on the month. This month is an off time.
Sure.
But they're going to have something that I'm really looking forward to in April, which is called BravoCon.
Okay.
Usually the events are 3 days. This is a 4-day event, so it'll start on
Nice.
Thursday instead of
Nice.
Friday.
Even more zombies for your smack and pleasure.
And they're renting out an extra large site next to near Houston.
Oh, okay.
There's one that they do in New Jersey every day or every year called
Okay.
DeathCon, and about 600 people showed up to the last one.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't want to see that many zombies all in one place. I'm gonna have trouble
Oh my
sleeping
gosh.
afterwards.
I
let
didn't
me
do it.
ask you about character creation and things like that. Where would people find out about rules for it? Are they posted online? Is it something
Yes.
that they purchase?
So if you just Google Dystopia Rising LARP,
Okay.
it's a sort of all-inclusive site, and you can click the area that you're in, and it'll
Okay.
show you where
I'll show you
the LARP
where to
is.
find the closest LARP to
Yes,
you.
yes.
Where are the zombies? Excellent.
Right.
And then the rules
The
and
rule
stuff for
book is
playing.
available on that website, and also guidelines for boffers.
For making your
right.
stuff and everything.
How big
Excellent.
can your shield be? How long can your boffer be for different, large or two-handed
sure.
or standard.
And I assume as well as contact information for other folks that
Right.
run things.
It has links to the forum where you can ask questions about the game.
Oh, nice.
online.
Of people all over the country and stuff that are
Right.
playing.
There's also the
Okay.
Facebook group. So if you search for Dystopia Rising, you'll see the Facebook group for various sites and for the nationwide Dystopia Rising Facebook group.
Excellent,
Mm-hmm.
excellent. And those are open groups, so you don't have to
Yeah.
be asked to join or stuff like that.
You
just go and
you
find
ask
it
to
and-
join, but it's pretty much automatic.
Okay.
They have a screening process to keep the spam bots out.
Gotcha.
Okay,
Beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that I've got to go and play this sometime. I've got to go dig in my closet right now so I can look somewhat remotely as cool as you. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Stay tuned for more adventures in LARPing. Beautiful.
Cool. Right on.